topics, any topic related to Salesforce, really. Yeah, we had a couple of sessions on Data Cloud, one on Agentforce certification, and now this one on building custom agents. Right.
So the data cloud one is already over, or you are planning to start that?
We did that. October, we did a Data Cloud one. We wanted to do Data Cloud as two-part sessions, but we were able to do only one. The second part is still pending, though. Yeah.
Okay.
We actually saw Banu had registered, right? Banu looks like
Oh, did
he
he?
also signed up. Yeah, I
Oh, he
think
didn't tell me that.
I think it's the same Banu. Oh no, no last.
Boyapati.
Oh no, it's someone M Banu P M. So somebody else then. I thought it was our Banu. All right, yeah. So yeah, Fahad here. I think he was also nice ahead of his own time. So he has been our Trailblazer community leader since last year. So thanks, Fahad, for getting this rolling and helping us move forward.
Hey, no problem. Thanks, Logesh, for taking up the sessions. Yeah, it's been a pleasure working this community since we started last year. Uh, we have been learning a lot, thanks to you, bringing up this latest technologies and whatsoever Salesforce is doing. You keep us updated on the data cloud, on the agent force. So yeah, looking forward for this session as well. Thanks.
Cool. Right. So I'm not going to do much of these slides. I only have like five. So we will just go straight to the actual agents because I think you might have seen a lot of these slides in Dreamforce and TDX and generally Trailhead as well. So maybe like 10 minutes on slides and then we'll jump straight into building an agent. And I have an agent that's built already, so I'll start with that and then I will go to the actual steps in building it. Right. So just the initial definitions and breaking down what an agent is before we jump in. So when we say an agent, so basically definition-wise, an autonomous service, really basically autonomous backend service that can perform tasks on its own and communicate with LLMs very defined manner under the instructions that we provide. So basically, it's in my definition, it is just an AI service that helps in accomplishing tasks with the help of predefined actions and instructions. So there has been this move from predictive to generative to agentic AI, and now the agentic AI is seeing so many different paths within that as well. Within agentic AI, different architectural patterns in there, different a different way of utilizing agents. There's autonomous agents and assistive agents. So the field has now started to grow at a really rapid pace. With respect to Salesforce, though, they've created this really robust setting for building these custom agents to spin up agents that are purpose driven for use cases of within specific domains, right? Whether it is financial domain, public sector, or whatever could be that. The fundamentals are in there. The platform for building agents is in there. All the necessary artifacts or all the necessary tools that you need to build an agent are kept ready for you. So that's what we are going to dive deep in, the agent builder part of things. But in general, these are the five aspects of agent that we constantly come back to. Before even we build an agent, there is a lot of planning and thought process needs to be done. We're not straight away jumping into the agent builder and click create an agent, right? So you got to sit through and work out what is the purpose for this agent, define the use cases or the role of an agent. Basically, like whether it is a customer service agent, whether it is a sales related leads processing agent, you have to define its purpose really well at the beginning. And as you have heard, the definitions and instructions are all crucial. It's not throwaway anymore. It's not reference anymore. The definitions are what makes the agents work, and we'll see those how those play a big part there. So that's the role part of things. Defining an agent, defining what it's supposed to do. Then the knowledge part, where what are we providing for the agent? What is the data that the agent will work on, whether it's Salesforce data or a strong knowledge base, knowledge articles, external data. What's it that we're feeding to the agent so that it can take those information and then send it to LLM and get us the best results? So this is obviously a very crucial part, and teams that are organizations that have a strong knowledge base that's built over years, that's well defined, very well structured, really have a very big advantage here, because you can take that entire thing, get it into data cloud, feed it as instructions to your agent, and boom, it's already there. And the way the agents work with the knowledge is amazing. It's something that, when you start working and testing the agent, that's when we feel how versatile it is in using that knowledge. So when we had tried out these different agents, that's, to me personally, that felt like, wow, that is something very profound that we couldn't, a normal conventional application development thing would not do that, with that much amount of variety and versatility. So that's a key element. Then third is the actions. So we've defined the purpose. Now we have to break it down into smaller pieces, what we call as the jobs to be done framework. You define the higher level jobs. Let's say in our case, in today's demo, we're going to do a loan agent, a loan management agent. So we can try to see what are all the different things that that particular topic of loan management will have, whether it is, hey, creating a loan, calculating an amortization schedule, calculating um, the interest amount that's going to be paid. So you're going to break down that bigger piece into smaller jobs, and we define that as actions, jobs to be done broken down into smaller actions. Next, most important thing, I would say, is guardrails, meaning LLMs are not consistent. We've known that, we've seen that when we have interacted with ChatGPT or even Gemini's or anything that we have got our hands on. They are kind of unpredictable sometimes. There is the aspect of toxicity of information, the hallucination part. So there are some aspects of LLMs that are to be very carefully handled. That's where the guardrails come in. These are nothing but very specific part of the instructions that we give to the agent, saying that, hey, answer only this part of the user's request. Do not go outside this boundary. Make sure you verify before responding uh, to the request. So things like these are important, so that the LLM doesn't go off of a branch and start making up information. So it's all purely instructions. There is nothing. There is not even a. I mean, there are settings that you can do in the agent builder, but these are basically solid instructions. These guardrails. Next, channels. Channels are, where are we going to put this agent that we have built? Are we going to put it in an experience cloud messaging window? Are we going to put it in an app messaging window? How are we going to route messages from anywhere to the agent? Can the agent forward, or how can the agent forward the request to a service representative, actual human being? So those are all the channel aspects, basically the deployment aspects of a particular agent. And yeah, I mean, this will grow. From what I see, channels are a little bit in its initial stages. I think it'll grow into multiple different areas, like a WhatsApp channel. An external social media channels will start popping up, I think, downstream. Right. I'll move to the next slide, but open for questions. Yeah.
Right. I know, Logesh, you can create like different agents, and each agent knows about a series of topics. Is
Yeah.
it, can you create an agent that knows about all the topics of all the agents that you've already created, like a master agent, or have you seen any
Yes.
kind of thing like that?
Thanks for bringing that up. So that's the third stage that has been described, and this was coming up in TDX as well. It's called as the orchestrator agent, Sean. It's not
Okay.
something that's readily available now, but they thinking that as the third evolution of that. I forgot the first evolution. I mean, this is just Salesforce's development evolution. The first one is, I think, assistive agents. The second one is the autonomous agents. The third
Hmm.
one is what you were mentioning is the orchestrator agent, which will take information and start spreading it across different agents and then consolidate it back and do that kind of that level of you know coordination.
Okay. Yep.
But still
All
not
right.
there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I see someone had come in.
Yeah, I see Bhanu. Hey Bhanu, thanks for joining. So Lokesh, I had one question. So the way you were talking about the channels here,
Yeah.
is this something like you build a agent and just like the way you build LWC components in Salesforce, you bundle it up, you put it on the page layouts, or can they be exported, through a app exchange? Is that possible or
There is m- so to answer your question, yes, well, it doesn't actually go fit into a page layout per se,
Hmm.
but it's in your for internal users. As we were going to see, there is an agent force button in there. Once you click in, your little agent force panel starts up for internal users. I was
Okay.
talking more in terms of the external users, as to how we will show these agents to the external. You can put it in an experience cloud site, you can put it in your own website,
Mhm,
put it in a mobile app. If organizations have their own mobile app, you can you know get your agent to work there. So that's what is the channels. The the app exchange part of it is different. So that is a slightly different topic, where you'll package your agent and let others download and use it. So that is there is a separate agent exchange, if I'm not wrong, is in there as well. I still haven't dived deep into that yet, but it's there, yeah, where you can download and use agents. Yeah.
got it. Yeah, thanks.
Right. Real quick on the where this entire AI agents sit with respect to the Salesforce architecture. Um, we'll start from bottom up. That way, um, you'll know how this all propagates. Um, Hyperforce is the infrastructure part of things. That's where the physical data is stored and stuff. So we don't have to dive deep into that. Data cloud, it's still outside of Salesforce platform in its own data layer. It can bring in Salesforce data. It can bring in external data, your own data lakes, everything, all ingested in there. You build your own profiles. You can have your structured and unstructured data. This is the knowledge part of what I was talking about in the first slide. This is what makes your agent intelligent. This is what makes your agent work, actually. Everything that is coming from, can come from data cloud, also can come from the Salesforce instance also. So two things. But data cloud, there are certain advantages to it because you are bringing in external data wherever it is. You can still bring it in to data cloud and use that in your agents. Next layer is the model. On top of data, you can have your own models. You can have Salesforce provided models. Salesforce has their own models that their own LLMs that you can use of. Then you can bring in your own custom, I mean, other custom models, external models, OpenAI models, any other things that works for your domain can be brought in into the model ecosystem as well. So that's the second layer. This is where all your instructions will go to. Like when you're typing in a request or a question or a prompt, everything goes to this particular models. They are the ones that are doing the magic literally. And on top of that is the trust layer. Is one of the pieces of the guardrails that I was talking about, that which you can actually to set up within Salesforce. So up until the model ecosystem, it's outside of Salesforce. If you think about it, they're still considered outside of the platform. Einstein Trust Layer is the bridge, that is something which routes all your messages through that. It provides data masking. It provides toxicity detection. This is the one that makes sure your organization's information does not go to the model as it is. It'll do the masking, it'll hide the information, and just make the prompt a little bit more safer before it goes outside the boundary of Salesforce. And zero data retention is very important here. All your instructions, when it goes to the model, they are not retained. They are not repurposed for retraining your model. None of that happens there. So that's a policy that Salesforce has worked with all these different LLM providers. So none of your data is ever stored outside of Salesforce. Secure data retrieval, dynamic grounding are all things that enriches your prompt with instructions that are pulled from different places. And dynamic grounding is on the fly. It can fetch um, values from your Salesforce data and make sure the prompt that you have built is all um, is with the right data that it needs from the Salesforce data model. So that's a crucial piece as well, and trust layer. And now we enter into the Salesforce instance itself. From AI tools and builders, this is the actual place where you are actually building your agent. Agent builder is a huge part of it. Model builder, so you can build your own purpose driven models with your own data. Say you have opportunities record or leads record of 5 years or 10 years. You can take that data, take it into the model builder, build um, a model that just looks at your lead data and has made a decision engine of its own. Now you can use that model builder um, in your agents as well. Like, this is a model that we can say, okay, I built an agent. Now I want my AI agent to use this model as well in my decision making. So this is, in my view, this is still in its initial stage, and this is going to get bigger and bigger. The model builder piece of things, it's very powerful because you can build your own model without having to depend on any external factors, any physical service that you need. You don't need any of those. You have your data handy, you can build your own model and keep it ready for usage, ready to deploy anywhere. So it's going to be a huge aspect in the future, I would say. Yeah, so this is where we're going to spend more time today. The agent builder. We won't dive too much into prompt or model builders because agent builder itself is a lot of information to do. Right. On top of, so these are all the tools. Now to the actual the agent layer itself. Using the tools, what you're building, as I said, autonomous agents and assistive agents. Assistive agents are the ones that we used to be calling that as co-pilots, Einstein co-pilots. These are agents that work with, let's say, a customer service representative, or um, you know any person who's working with customers on over a chat or a voice, or in person, anything, right? So they utilize this agent to provide them information, to give them pull data, update records, all through prompts, all through chats. So they this is assistive, meaning assistive to another human being, helping them increase their productivity, helping them do tasks at a faster rate. Autonomous agents, in on the other side, is there's no human interaction. You can set it up once as to how it should work, and it will do its tasks. This is not for a customer representative. Let's say there was a trigger, um, a new order came in. Now you wanted to do n number of things. You want to pull information from some other system and say, okay, an order is coming. Now I have to send this to an external system. Now I have to create an email. I have to create subsequent processes. You can line up those processes as topics, and corresponding actions to it. It'll all happen without a human, you know, engaged in that any of those processes. Now you can ask me, a flow can do this, right? An apex process can do this. What's the difference here? Now this is that the advantage here is that you, in those cases, you have to build every piece of it, and it can work only in one fashion, right? Meaning you've already programmed for it. But here is a little bit more. With the power of LLM coming in, it can start to look at your knowledge base, it can start to look at your actions, and it can use your flows and apex actions as well, actually autonomously take forward through natural language processing and finish a task. It can do some of the things that you don't have to explicitly program. It can pull information. All you have to do is give instructions, and it can automatically process those instructions and assess what needs to be done next. So those things are the next level advantage that we have with autonomous agents. I'm breaking down, every agent has these topics and actions piece, and then the guardrails that I talked about are the instructions. Reasoning engine is the behind the scenes of this agents. This is the one that looks at your request, routes it. I mean, finds the right topic for it, and finds the right actions that needs to be picked for it. All of those orchestration behind the scene is done by the Atlas reasoning engine, as it's called. Now, all of this, right, this layer, now you have to put it in the application layer, right? Whether it's sales, service, marketing, or any other area, you want to embed that into your applications. So um, this happens very naturally with Salesforce. Your agents are seamlessly integrated to your applications at all levels. So there isn't really a difference between these two layers, I would say. They're all merged together. Right. I'll move, but open for questions.
So, Lagesh, the knowledge base that you're talking about, does that have to be Salesforce knowledge, or what format would the my knowledge need to be for me to ingest it into this thing?
Yeah. So so there's a thing called libraries. You can I'll show that as to
Okay.
agent libraries. The two ways, Sean, actually. One is you take your entire knowledge base and get it into data cloud, as knowledge article records. um, Typical Salesforce knowledge base, that can be done. But if you
Okay.
have external stuff like Confluence per se, right?
Yeah.
People have a lot of stuff in Confluence. Now that comes under the unstructured data part in Data Cloud. Now we can bring that as an unstructured data lake object into Data Cloud, and then it will have what is called as, I think, indexing process. There is like two or three processes that are done on unstructured data.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the Data Cloud runs on top of it, and then now it becomes uh, ready for semantic search of those information. Now it will break them into tokens. It'll index those tokens. It'll keep them ready for ingestion into your models. So Salesforce knowledge as well and external knowledge as well.
All right. Thanks.
Lokesh, one more quick question. So this external data, right? For example, like if you try to connect other medium, for example, like in a Facebook, if you take like that's an unstructured data, right? So
Hmm.
it will be in any format. So is it like we need to ingest the data into the data cloud, or just connect and then like it will look into that like any external medium, not only
You
Facebook,
you will
because.
have to ingest. You will have to ingest. Data Cloud has plenty of connectors. Anything that you want, from a data lake or a website. I think social media as well. You can feed that in to Data Cloud, put it into data models, get it into data models, and that data model will now become accessible for your agents.
Okay, so even if it is unstructured data, also like so there won't be any particular field and values, right? It's not going to be like that. So,
Right. Yes, unstructured data is a lot of people have that. YouTube videos, for example, right? You will have
mm, mm,
training videos. You will have historical sessions from YouTube. So you can get those things into Data Cloud. Struct. I mean, then it'll start to parse those, keep it in a way that you can use that information.
okay,
Yeah, unstructured data, very powerful. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but there's a lot of Data Cloud work that's needed there to get it. I wouldn't say a lot, but it's still steps that are to be followed to bring that in, um, and then do a transformation and get it into a data model object.
Mm, okay.
So, so Logesh, once we get this unstructured data,
Mhm.
uh, does this model run, and then it tries to give you like a formatted, a structured way, then you look at it and then you keep refining it? Like, how does that work? Like,
Sorry, I didn't understand. Can you?
so you get that unstructured data, as you
Right.
said, like YouTube or Facebook, and then there is one layer on top which tries to format this in a structured way. You see that if you're satisfied, you use it, or you can keep refining it. You can work on that.
There isn't I mean, you won't be able to see those. That's a layer. I mean, you won't be able to see how it has formatted or how it has structured your unstructured data. You won't be able to
Mhm.
see it. You can just access at a very high level, that's what I call as the index level. That's it. So you don't have much control over how that is done, but it's very powerful. I will tell you that you can bring in different text data, Confluence for per se, like Jira, for example, you can bring, and then you suddenly have information that makes sense for an LLM. Yeah, but you are not actually going to see how Data Cloud manages that.
Okay, I was just imagining like Oracle tables or something like.
Hmm. No, it just gives you at the very top level, using Data Explorer, you can see
Mhm.
how it has tried to make sense of the unstructured data. Manipulate that if that's what you're asking.
Got it. Thanks.
One more thing.
Um,
Um, so generally, like the system learns from the question that we ask, right? So the agent is like learning from the question that we ask, and then so the information that we give, is it like going to be shared across? Anyone can use that, or the Einstein trust layer can you know protect that, like, and it should not be shared with
Yes.
this like outsiders or.
Yeah. Anything that goes out is zero retention. Nothing will be stored in there. But within your org, right? Let's say you want to define a specific set of prompts. There's a prompt builder there.
Yeah, prompt builder. Yeah.
Yeah, you can reuse prompts. I mean, you can create prompt templates so that you can distribute it to your entire team, right? So different members of the team can use the same prompt. For example, hey, build um, an engaging email for prospective customers who attended my last campaigns. You can build a prompt like that and send it to all your sales folks, and then they'll look at that and they can reuse that for a particular customer, and suddenly you have an email that that has all the details of the customer. It tells that they have been a part of the previous campaign. It pulls information from your account and builds this very content rich email, all with just one prompt template. And you can do that for hundreds of your customers with one click. Yeah.
Okay.
That's prompt builder that you can reuse. But data wise, nothing is stored outside, not even your prompts. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, there is one question from Bhanu.
Yeah.
Location in the chat box if you can.
Oh yeah, zero copy data support. Yes, zero copy. Uh, well, not sure if we can support unstructured data, but as far as I know, zero copy doesn't. It's just a pointer to specific things in a data lake, uh, or any other external data source. I don't think it can be. No, I don't think it can handle unstructured data. So zero copy is basically, you're not bringing in data into data cloud, but you are building references to your data in data cloud. So it's like on demand fetch of your data. So if you don't want to replicate your data in data cloud, you can use zero copy. And that data is still can be used to for your agents or for your model building or whatever. Yeah. But it doesn't reside inside data cloud. Right. We move forward. After this, we can jump into the demo. Not demo, like building. Okay. So we talked about this. This is the three important building blocks of an agent. Define your topics for your agent. Again, all this is paperwork or thought process work, not directly into Salesforce, right? And then you have to classify what topic it is. Um, you have to write a lot of instructions for topics, right? You have to tell a lot of details of what it is, almost like from like telling it to a to a layman person. So you have to think on that perspective and define those topics. And then for each of those topics, I'll jump to the actions part here. You break it down like, okay, order management here. What are all the different things in order management? Should I cancel an order? Should I just only look up an order? As it says, should I generate a label? Should I look up knowledge articles and say something about the product that they purchased? Should I talk about service contracts? You can build your action. You can break it down and start building actions for each of those. These actions will the Salesforce has a repository of inbuilt actions, and you can use those. Those are all fundamental basic actions. But on top of that, you can have flows as actions. You can have apex as actions. You can have API calls as actions. So multiple different things that you can build as actions. And today we'll look at apex as actions because you know over the years companies have built this huge set of functional apex classes that run their business, right? Now you take now all of that is a wealth of information for actions now. You can leverage them as it is. You just have to make them invocable. You know, they have to become invocable methods, and you have to describe those apex classes. All the effort that people made to write code comments, it's all coming to full effect now. So all that is now instructions for your agent. you know um, it can automatically look at that, evaluate that apex class and apex methods, and get it into action. And that's what we're going to see today. And then and then for each actions you have to specify, for each topics you have to specify instructions, what it is going to do, what will be the user inputs that is expected, what is that you have to ask your user and get back, what is that you cannot send to the user. Everything is an instruction. And it's what I have felt is that the order of instruction does have an effect on the agent. um, and also conflicting instructions can cause your agent to behave a little erratic. So this is a very important piece of to make your agent functionable. Keep it very simple. Don't make instructions like you know 10 lines, 15 lines. Break it down. Keeping it simple works. And non-conflicting, non-overlapping instructions also helps, and order also helps. Right. You can ask your questions while I pull the org, and we'll move from the slides to actual agents. Okay. Any questions before we jump in? Okay. All right. One sec.
Actually, I do it. Oh, okay. So, is there any like guidance on the format of those instructions, or it's basically just English, or do I have to like specify? Like, I couldn't figure out like if I had to say, call this specific action, and the words had to match the creation of the action that I created, or does it, the flow? Does it have to match the flow name that I wanted to execute when
Hmm.
somebody asks something, or
There isn't anything that you have. There's no structure or format that you need to follow. You don't have to put the apex name. You don't have to put the flow name or in there. It is general English instructions.
okay,
They're, they're calling it now. They're calling it as English New Apex, or the new programming language.
yeah, all right,
So plain simple instructions. So yeah, um, once you're in, this is that org, Sean. The unexpiring developer edition org. Everything built in. Um, we go to the agent studio, go to agents, and get the agent. I'm going to show the one that's already done, and then I will start creating based on that. So by default, we'll always have this Agentforce default agent. Um, in internal agent, it looks at your org. You can do certain things about your org, but it's not. It has its own actions and stuff. So once you got a license for Agentforce, this is what is there by default. But then on top of this, you will go ahead and create new agents from here. Right, I have this loan agent. You define what type of agent it is at the start. So when you go here, this is the agent builder, and start it. Right now, this edition only has service agent, agent for service agents, service agent type. But if once you have a full-fledged license, you will have sales agent types, there's sales development representative, sales coach type. There are like 4 types now available. And obviously, this will increase release after release. Um, this is a relatively new one. I won't dive into it. This is like internal admin developer oriented ones. Is going to be very powerful downstream, but it's in initial stage. Probably we'll do a separate session for this. But yeah, now our focus is on a service agent. That, let's say we are doing it for a company called as Capital Loans, and an agent, human agent, who is processing loans for people who are walking in or over phone. They want to create a loan application. They want to see different amortization plans, build different amortization plans quickly, and compare them, and see what will work best for the customer, and pick that particular plan and go with that. So that is the purpose of this agent. I will build it side by side, but I'm going to quickly show you what is already there, and then we'll go to the steps. So this is a fully built one. This is the agent details screen. This is where this is all you have to write them. The description of the agent, the purpose, the role, what is the particular role. The good thing is, um, Einstein can help you write this. So when you do this, there'll always be that Einstein button. It'll say, "Help me write this." It'll a slight little pop up. So you can click that, and you can use that to actually write these instructions as well. You're not starting from scratch if you don't want to, but of course you can write it yourself as well. As I said, to keep it precise, 2 or 3 lines, define the purpose, define the role, tell a little bit about the organization itself. In this case, usually, all the agents, for what organization is this agent for, what specific purpose it is for. Basically description. And then comes one important piece, right? Agent user. So you have to create a specific user for your agent, and that will be of profile called as agent Einstein user. So I'll go there because it's an important piece, which is not actually covered in trailheads. You will have to figure it out while you're doing them. So you go to users. You see this profile, Einstein agent user profile. Once you have the license, this is the profile that is provisioned. You cannot make any edits to this profile. Okay, this is a standard default profile created by Salesforce on our creation. User license is Einstein agent. This is the profile that you have to assign to the user, because it has all the provisions that are needed to run your Atlas reasoning engine, topics, instructions, whatever. And then you have to give permissions. Now, going back to the user, this is the user that I created. I've assigned the profile. Now, everything else, like access to objects, to Apex classes, access to flows, everything has to be given to this user through permission sets. So go here, you will see that I've created a bunch of permission set assignments here. Some are standard. You will have to pick all of these as well. Agentforce, default configuration, object access, and this standard set that you have to give for any agent user that you build. And then your own custom ones. This is the custom one that I created, loan management permissions. So here I'm giving access to all the custom objects that I created, my Apex classes, my flows, anything else, right? Anything else that the agent access to. So it's very closed model to begin with, in terms of security, and you have to explicitly grant access to your agent for every single piece, including FLS. Every single field has to be defined and given access to. So, so what
And this is for the
I found this
structured
the hard.
data. Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
I did figure this out. Like this did take me a while. I created a new object, and I was like, okay, why isn't the agent answering my questions? And I figured, okay, yeah, I
Right.
figured out. Okay, there was a permission set. Once as soon as I added my object to that, okay, now it starts to be able to return structured data out of my object. Do you have to do the
Correct.
same thing for the unstructured data? Like if you upload files and stuff like that, do you have to
With
grant access to the
unstructured data,
files?
so if it is coming from data cloud, you don't have to, because it doesn't
Okay,
doesn't reside in Salesforce. It doesn't have to. Anything coming from data cloud, you don't have to explicitly give access.
all right.
Yeah. Right. So the user is created, the user is assigned here. Going back to the agent details page, you have to assign the user here. All this is set up. Then the breakdown topics. So some of these are out of the box topics, very powerful, very useful. Fetching records, querying records, general FAQ is like knowledge, using knowledge base. Those are all standard out of the box actions. There's a large growing list of standard actions you can pull from. I'll show it in the builder now. And then you build your custom action. So I have two actions here: amortization management and loan management. Um, I'll open up. Amortization is the one that has my Apex classes. Loan management, simple instructions. I don't have uh, anything complex there. When I open it in the builder, I'll start showing them there. Next is system messages. This is like very simple configurations. How do you want your agent to react when there is an error, welcome message and stuff. You can define the tone of your agent here, whether it is formal, casual. I think there are going to be more things coming. You can define your organization's tone, like organization's language per se, like the terminologies. Although all that can also be configured here, and other language support is available. I believe I've not tried that much. Connections. This is what I sound by channels. Like how are you going to route requests to the agent? How are you going to route requests from the agent to elsewhere? So you can define your inbound flows and outbound flows using flows itself. Like you can define an actual omni-channel outbound flow as to how it should be, skill-based routing or whatever that you need. You can do it in your flow builder, attach it here, and get it to move, get it to deploy basically. Connections. You can actually put your agents for an API access, meaning your website. If you have a really powerful website, you can actually pass requests and call the agent API. Very, very new, like 1 month old new agent API. Um, will take the instructions, pass it to your instant agent, and get back the responses JSON, right? Everything that the agent does continuously happens. It's just that it can take it as an API request and send back an API response. And to see the whole thing, right, or everything that I talked about is all listed in here in this very nice checklist. Permissions, topics, how do you attach your agent to agent with knowledge, what role it, how do you assign it to channels, the different channels. How do you do testing? Like there's a testing center that you can try your different prompts and see how it works. There's plenty here that I talk that is in there. Omnichannel routing, and you can also monitor your agent's performance using Data Cloud reports. All the agent interactions can be passed into Data Cloud, and you can run reports there. Right. Now, jumping on to this is the agent builder screen. Now, okay, before that, I have a few custom objects that I built for this loan agent. Go here. A residential loan application. I'm going to use accounts in context, obviously. And then I have a residential loan application record that we want the agents to create on request. And it captures some basic details like, hey, give me the amount that you want to loan for, give me an interest rate, what is the amortization type and amortization term in months. Collects this, creates a simple loan. That's just an initial part of it. Now we want to see how this loans amortization schedule looks like. So you can build. I built an amortization version. So one different versions of table that you can build. So you go to a version and see the amortization schedule. So this is how the payment schedule looks like for this plan. So before someone signs up, all this can be generated on the fly, with the help of Apex, of course. And then you can start to compare this version with another version of amortization schedule, all through prompts, and then you know make a decision for your customer. Suppose your customer walks in and you want to do this on the fly, you can do this using this agent. That's the idea. The three objects: residential loan application, amortization version, and amortization schedule. Now let's see this in action. And you see this center pane. This is the Atlas Reasoning Engine's logs that's going to come in here. So it's going to show what topics are picked, what actions are picked, and why it picked a particular topic and why it picked a particular action, right? And then you can fine tune and tweak your instructions. Oh, instructions wise. So this is the instruction that I've given for each of the topics. So you have to give a description and a scope for your topic, and then comes the instructions. So you can keep on refining them. You can keep on changing them. I've played around with this multiple times, um, and saw how it makes an impact. So when you define each topic, you go in there and do that. Classification, description, scope, and a list of instructions. So here, this is the first step. So what I'm saying is fetch an account record by name. That's what I'm going to try here. Can you get me the account named Cherry? I'm just giving the first name, right? So it runs its its own inbuilt actions. Take a little
So
bit
is
of
this
time for me.
calling a flow behind the scenes or no?
No, this one is calling an inbuilt action, Sean. So
Okay.
yeah. So it'll show here which action it's picking in. Oh, come on. Reload. Right. So it's pulled the account management topic here, and this is an inbuilt action, by the way. And now it's asking, can you provide me the email address? Now I should try with the full name. No, come on. What is the email? Right. Let me go back. Is it the right agent? Okay, I'm the right agent. I'm gonna go jump straight to the question. Can you create a loan application for right? So now it looked at the word loan application. It picked the topic loan management as the topic based on the instructions that I've given, and now it's zeroed in on three actions that needs to take place here. Identify record by name. It says I found the record by name, and then create loan application. This is the flow. This one is actually a flow, and then the summarized record. These are all standard actions. So a combination of standard and custom objects will be generated by the reasoning engine, and then you can look at what's happened inside that. What's the input and output? So it's looking at account object with the name Jerry Seinfeld, and it's pulled the record ID and everything is shown in the right side output. So the first step is done, and then it goes to now create loan application is the next. Now in that, I have given um, what is this? So loan management. I've I've I put this as these are the inputs that I need in order to create a loan. This will take inputs from the user about loan term, amount, interest rate, and then pull information. So it's asking for the three information based on the instructions that I've given for this particular topic. And these are the three actions that I have already listed, already created in here. Now I will go deep into the loan application flow, but I just wanted to show how this actually works in action. Right, once I give this, then all these instructions will kick in, creating the loan application using my actions. I also said always validate the input. The interest rate cannot be more than 15%. Loan amount cannot be. These are all kind of the guardrails that I was talking about, right? You keep these boundaries set for it. So now I'm just gonna give 100,000 to 36 months, and then 4%. Right, you can just give it in commas. You can give it however. You don't have to. There is no structure there. It'll take it all. However you type it in. Right, this is the confirmation. I put a confirmation step in before creating it. Always provide a confirmation before creating it. So it's asking for that. I just say yes. Okay, for Jerry Seinfeld, create this particular one. Now it invokes the flow. If you already have a flow set up for this, it'll invoke it. So it's gone in there, create loan application. It's got all the parameters. It's went ahead and created it. If I go back here, the loan, residential loan applications. I created a few. I'll look for the latest. 9 should be the latest. 329. Yeah. So this is the amount that I've given. Right. So the loan is created. Very simple. Nothing great about this. Um, you know, it's just invoking a from prompt. But after this, no. Can you create an amortization table? I'm using the word table for the loan application. I'm not saying what it is. I'm just saying it's going to pick it from the context window. So it's going to ask for, okay, it is the loan that's created above, but I still need the loan application number because I've given that instruction like that. So I'm giving the number. So it's again, it's driven by the instructions that you have given. So it says the amortization table has been created for it. I want to say, can you display the table here? The thing with this is it's not going to display the whole table. It pulls the top 5 records. So none of this is all through instructions, right? I have not explicitly um, told it to do anything like this. The only thing that I've done is I've created a Apex class that creates this table. That is still Apex. But outside of all of that, this is all just happening with LLM's power in here. So it's displayed it in table. Now, so I'll show it in here. So the table, the version records created here. I think two got created. The first one as soon as I created the loan itself, and then the schedule with all of this information. Now, basically, this table, you can actually talk to this table, literally, like meaning you can ask questions about this table. Hey, give me what is the interest that I pay on a particular month, total of interest. What's the balance on a particular month? So you can ask those questions right there, and it'll doing these calculations which you have not planned for. Can you calculate the sum of the interest?
Lokesh, is there a scope for text templates using the Like we are typing everything. I see.
Yeah, yeah. That is well, prompt templates are the actual ones, but you can break it down and keep these handy ones that you can click and it'll automatically populate. Click and populate.
Oh, yeah.
Right. See, so it can do things like this automatically, like calculate the total amount of interest that's paid. Give me the interest amount paid on the month of June 2025. There it is. This is the interest amount that's paid on that. So you can basically talk to these data structures, whatever it is. In this case, it's a table. So using this, none of this is obviously this is all LLMs, right? We have not instructed it to do this. There's no flow running behind this. None of this is happening. So that's the power that you can extract out of these agents. Um, but now I want to go back to the action, and because this is all about custom actions, right? And show what it needs to be done to have an Apex class be an action here, right? That is important. So this is the amortization management topic, and under this, we have these actions, right? Some of these are standard actions, but the one that I want is this one, which is an Apex action, amortization calculator Apex. Now, think of in your orgs where you have had a very powerful Apex service, right? Now, that Apex service or collection of Apex services can now be direct taken and repurposed, well, not repurposed, like utilized, leveraged into an agent with very simple steps. Now, I'm going to open this Apex class and show you what is done here, right? So the interesting thing is, I did not write this Apex. I took Agentforce for developers help to write this Apex because I did not create logics for creating an amortization table. It's pretty complex, and I just had to use the plugin from Visual Code, and it automatically gives me the code structures. All I just need to make sure is that okay, is it what I need? That's all.
So you're saying any admins can work on it. Like, there is no actual development experience required. Like,
Yes, but you need to know what it is created is right. So you need to know that level of expertise, of course.
okay.
Right. So this is the one. And this class, 80% is created by Agentforce for developers. 20% I had to tweak it. Yes, I'll be honest. Um, because I defined the method slightly differently. I wanted to handle the input slightly differently. That's the only part that I did. Now this is the one. It created method structures. Now it created the invocable method. I load the label and description, of course, and then this is all Einstein created it. It creates the invocable variable, this method too, everything, right? So what method needs to be used as action needs to be created as invocable method here. So this is what the agent reads. I mean, this is what the Atlas reasoning engine reads as an action. You created this label and description for creating the version, and then the version creates the schedule. This is the schedule that is all in there. So generated the whole structure for me. Look at the formulas behind this, and look at the inner class, the request object. The request object is an invocable variable for the agent itself, the loan number. This part I explicitly wanted it so that I can show you that it's an invocable variable that the agent is looking for when it picks this Apex class. And it also created a sample usage, everything in there. So take your Apex classes and you can repurpose it like this.
So you can do this through the agent builder itself or the console, like tell them
No,
that I have so and so Apex class, and can you know remodel it and make it invocable?
you need yes, you need the VS Code plugin.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's not yet in the developer console.
Mhm.
Um, it's still in the um, VS Codes only. Yeah, that's where it is more powerful. It's a plugin.
So there's a
Yeah.
plugin, Agentforce for
Yeah.
developers or something. Is
Yes.
that like
Yeah.
free or is that something you buy or what is that?
No, free. That one is free. It's a VS Code,
Hmm. VS Code plugin. Okay.
yeah, extension, and you just give everything through prompts, and you can get back results on that. Yeah. And it will
Okay.
create these entire Apex classes. And you in the prompts, the important thing is you have to specify that this is for an agent action or a topic. So then it structures it like that. So another key aspect is this has to be with sharing. It will create it with sharing because then it obviously it respects the object access um, for the running user that I showed, right? So only that particular user's permissions will be taken forward. So yeah, so and then of course you have to give access to this Apex class for the agent user through the permission sets. So the the, the point here is we have at nice or on any place, like we have a rich set of Apex classes built over time. We can take those and see which will add value or create a layer. In general, what we have been recommending is that create a layer above your existing Apex classes, kind of like an orchestrator that can route to the appropriate Apex classes. When you have one set of Apex classes at the top, which the agent can access, and from there you branch out and go to your domain specific, program specific, or core classes and get your branching going. That way, it's a little bit more cleaner to segregate your Apex classes and automatically get them available for your agents.
So you're saying build one base controller, give access to your agent, and then based on the requirement, just call different methods or classes because you save time, right? Giving each and every Apex class permission. Like,
No, you still need to give permissions to all of them.
okay.
You would still need to give permissions to all of them, but it becomes a little bit more manageable, extendable, a little bit more clarity when you have a little bit of a structure in those branching.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, what if if we need to call more than one classes
Yes,
and do
create more action. Yeah,
more actions?
yeah, you can create. So even here, I think I have more than one app. Yeah, you can create more actions for your Apex classes. Yeah, you can create as many actions as you want here.
Okay. And if if we create any record, then the triggers before, so those all will function as it is, right?
As it is. Yeah, your
Okay.
entire set of functionality as it is.
Okay.
So here are the different types of actions that you can do. You can pull in, as I said, you can call an API actually without having an Apex. You can call a flow as an action. This is on the one I have is a flow. What is a flow? Oh, that's on the other topic. But you can have a flow in here. You can have prompt templates are a type of action, by the way.
Okay.
You can invoke a model directly as an action as well. So these are all the options. And then, but more importantly, right, the asset library. There is all plenty of already ready-made actions that you have. Very powerful. You can start using them quick, plug and play kind of a thing. You know, get a record, update a records, summarize a record, log a call, verify users. This is actually a flow. So inbuilt flows, inbuilt actions, very powerful as well. And once you create your action goes into this repository, and you can use your action across agents. Once you build one action, you can use it across. So you can create your own framework of actions and start using them in across different agents. You can have one agent for one line of business, but they can all internally use a core set of classes, right? And different programs can use different agents, but internally they can call same set of core classes, core actions. So those things are also possible. Yeah.
And
So
Lokesh,
this would,
on the
yeah,
Apex
yeah.
actions, does it have to return something specific, or it can return a string or a collection of records or a collection or
Anything, it can return anything. This will process. You just need to state what is the return type. That's all.
okay.
So that's where our next part leads to. We only have 12 minutes. So some best practices for creating Apex actions. A wonderful presentation made by a Salesforce MVP person. I wanted to share those links. I'll share this particular presentation, but this one, LinkedIn one, but it's still worth going through that. Some of the questions that you asked, Sean, has the answers in here. This was part of TDX a few weeks back. This is the person. So how do you? This is like a developer workflow. How do you go about creating it? Where do you start? You know, um, when you want to create an agent, define the topics, get your actions set up, add the actions to the topics, start adding the instructions. Some people or most people say write your instructions at the end after you have created everything. Otherwise, you will have to make a lot of changes. I didn't do that. I mean, I created the instructions first step. Some people say it's kind of a best practice now, looking at how people create. They'll always have to go back and edit at the end. So come back at the end and create your instructions at one shot, and do a lot of testing, of course, through your instructions. Refine them. You will have to refine those instructions no matter what. The reasoning engine, we talked about it. This is what is happening pictorially. All the available action, the Atlas reasoning engine picks the right actions based on the request that it encounters. For this request, it's picked four actions, and it can chain the actions like one action after another. This is all done automatically. You don't have to do anything here. Instructions help in chaining the actions. Oh, first I have to call this, then I have to call this, then a flow, then probably an email, whatever it is. Now coming to the best practices. Well, I switch to the best practice. Right here. Invocable methods, give a name, that's important. Give a clear description, natural language description for all the inputs and outputs. You have to state what your Apex class takes as input, what your Apex class returns, Apex methods, I mean. So that way, the agent will clearly know what to expect. Um, and then, the rest of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory. With respect to the context window, what we mean by context window is, how long can it maintain the same thread? Like I was talking to the agent, right? Like, hey, can you calculate the interest on this time? Can you calculate this? So this is all with respect to kind of what's happened in the chat in the chat window before. Now, if you switch the context to some other record in the same window, then the prior context is lost. So when I say lost, it's not directly accessible. You will have to explicitly state that what was created for Jerry. Can you pull that? Now, from Jerry, if you move to John, the context switches to John, and there are some limitations there which I'm not entirely sure it what that limitation is with respect to the context window.
Hmm. So there is still no like multiple context window concept, like like one window for one applicant.
If you give explicit instructions, it can still work with multiple records in parallel,
Hmm.
but that itself is considered as one context, right? Certainly, if you move from loans to, let's say, cases, then it's a complete context window change.
Got it. Yeah.
And typically, these are all chain when the apex actions are you know chained. When it you just have to plan for it accordingly, like your transactions. When do you start your transaction? When do you close your transaction? You have to be aware of that as well. Each action in its own is an individual transaction, so you have to be aware of that when multiple chained actions are called. Error handling. So this is something that I did not do well in my class. I did not instruct my agent to do that. Best practice is have a good solid error handling mechanism. Throw errors that has clear descriptions so that the agent can read that and send that error to the actual user itself, because I myself got so confused as to what is the error. I don't understand this error, because remember that the agents are not going to say, hey, I don't have access to the apex class. That is not going to be coming into your response window, and it's not even clear in the action plan that you see in the middle pane. So it's up to you to define really well defined errors and responses in your apex methods, try catch blocks, and show meaningful messages back so that the agent can process that and show clearly what is the problem. Yeah.
So if you have one agent in action, like and then you want to build another version, so this works the same way as a uh, flow
Yes.
builder
Yes.
version.
Exactly like that. Yes. Versions of agents. Yeah.
So all the response that we got from that agent, it's all like, that we need to write it up for every, or how does that thing work?
Can you repeat that, Mahesh?
No, all the responses that we get from the agent, right? If we ask any question, like, and it replies. So everything has to be, you know, um, we need
Can
to
we
write up everything.
can we export it? That is that what you are trying
No,
to
no,
ask?
no, no. My question is like, how that response is like, getting, create. Can you create that loan application or pull this record? So, for all the questions that we ask and we are getting the response back, right? So, is this something that um, for each and every, because every person can write a different way of questions, right?
Yes.
So this is all somehow already we need to configure it
No.
in a way
See, that's the difference, right? So that is the biggest difference, right? That's where LLM comes in. That's where the large
Mhm.
language model, it understands what your intent is. It understands what the
Mhm.
user's intent is. You're not programming for anything. The language model understands what is the intent and picks the topics and instructions. Like all of this behind the scenes, what goes to LLM is your request and what are all the topics and actions available. Everything is actually sent to the LLM. The LLM is processing all of that information and saying, "Oh, okay, this is the list of topics you have. This is your question. This is your action. This is what you are supposed to do to fulfill this request." Everything is generated by the LLM and sent back. The reasoning engine now knows. The reasoning engine is kind of sitting between yourself and the LLM. The reasoning engine now knows, okay, the LLM has processed it. It's given me exactly what needs to be done. Now I am going to call this action, invoke this action. So you are not explicitly, you know, programming
Hmm.
for this. LLM is taking care of that.
Okay.
Any different people can type in however they want. Some people can type in detailed instructions. Some people can type in one line instructions. So that's where
Mhm.
the whole agent concept excels.
Okay.
Right. Security is such a huge thing here. You will have to keep your Apex classes, because now suddenly you are you if you don't have the right permissions, you can give agent all if you give the agent all permissions and you expose the agent, suddenly any person can update any record through prompts. They don't even have to know the data structure or whatever it is, right? So you have to be very particular about with sharing and running the queries with user mode, FLS, Apex controls, socket query limit. Everything becomes a little bit more important now, because you are accessing it at a very different layer level, and if you will have to have these checkpoints at multiple different places. So there's a lot of details to all the things that are explained in here, and I've added it to the reference. I'm going to go through all of this, but yeah, there is plenty that you can do with Apex as the custom actions.
Do you
All
have
right.
to have data cloud,
Not
or
necessarily, Sean. I mean, without Data Cloud, the agent can still function with just your Salesforce data.
hmm
If you have unstructured, Data Cloud is necessary. If you have external data sources, data warehouses, um, or external data lakes, then Data Cloud is essential. Then, because otherwise it becomes very hard to make it available for your agent, right? So with Data Cloud, it makes it so very easy to make it available. It's got a seamless integration where you can go to a knowledge repository and pull them. I will show you the knowledge repository. The builder, we go to so you will have this, what's this library, Agentforce table library. So here is where you can without this is without Data Cloud, right? If you don't want Data Cloud, or if you're not ready there yet, you can bring in new libraries from here. Uh, I think I have to start from the scratch. This is where you can import data and have your own knowledge articles loaded in here.
Okay,
You can
I'll look
bring
at
in
that.
your files, your written documents here, anything that can be uploaded can be brought in here through data libraries, and these data libraries directly accessible to Agentforce.
Okay, cool. And one
All
final
right.
question: what about like
Yep.
logging in? Like, if you have like a public agent,
Mhm.
and you want to, is there like a thing where a person has to log in to get access to their record, or I ask, I put in like my email address, and then all of a sudden I have access to just my stuff, or like,
Yeah. So we face this with the customer. One of the cases that we face the exact one. So um, we split it into two. Um, an unauthenticated support agent and an authenticated version of it. So with unauthenticated, only very limited access. The guardrails are set clearly, like beyond this, you will need to be a logged in user. So as soon as that context is set in the instructions, it will not go in and fetch and fetch any data and show to them. So once you get in the login context, then it will, okay, now I know that you are in a logged in context. So you will have to, that's where the context variables were introduced very recently again. So you bring in context variables into your agents and define where, what is it? You can use that to define this, what do you call it as? What is that? I forgot the term for it. Session variables, almost like session variables, almost like I'm looking for the term. I forgot. Here it is. Context variables, custom variables. You can. This is where you define whether the user has a session or not. All this can be used directly in your instructions and prompts as well. Hey, look up the value of this context variable and decide if this is a logged in user. Look up this context variable and decide if they are logged out. Things like that. A lot more.
Okay.
I'm just giving one use case. Yeah, very new as well. It's like 1 month old. Yeah.
But if you put one of these agents on your like partner community or something, would it
Mhm.
automatically, the person's logged in, would it already be restricted or running as that user, like be restricted to whatever that user has access to, or no?
Yes. Yeah. No. So we have. So we take that responsibility of defining that with what we give permissions to that particular agent. Right. It can it can only show information for that particular logged in user, nothing else. So we have to define that in the guardrails. Otherwise, it has access to this vast amount of data, and it can show stuff. You have to say, give records and values for this particular individual only. Then any other outside data, it's not going to show. It's only show for that particular partner.
So if a agent or a broker working for a particular firm, we can
Mhm.
specify that only give access to those accounts under that account,
Yes,
and
for the logged in user. So
logged in.
it'll like then it'll build this context for that particular user only. And you still have to have, you got to make sure your flows, obviously flows and epics fetches only that particular record.
Mhm.
That is also our responsibility. So those things are still a lot of responsibility in building this, security and access controls. That's why with sharing, with user mode are all very important.
Got it.
Yep. So hope this was useful for all of you, and we will send out this recording and the presentation and spread the word. If you have more people who want to join or who want to take sessions, or if you have topics that you want to explore, let us know. There are other folks in Salesforce who can join and take sessions as well, and we hope to have at least once a month this one.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Logesh.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Logesh. Yeah, that was very knowledgeable. I'll send out the recording and the presentation.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. It's nice to see you, everyone. We're all
Yeah,
in
nice
one
to
Thanks.
see
group.
you. All right.
Thanks, Yogesh. Yeah. See you,
Thanks all.
everyone.
Yep.
Yeah. Bye.